to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the longest-running Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
We're always in control, and when you say Miami, you're talking to my ball. Cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? Thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast. Yes, it's Monday morning at 9 a.m. and we are live. You know why? Because we're sick bastards. I'm your host, Michael Leva. This is Doug Lee Do Wrong. There's a Dolphins game tonight. Two teams 0-3, and we're going to break it down for you right here. Doug, how you doing today?
I'm all right.
Thoughts and prayers. Doug's in mourning because his Mets found a way to actually blow a huge lead from July to September and missed the playoffs with a $341 million payroll. So thoughts and prayers, Doug.
And then Pete Alonso comes out and he's like, I'm going to opt out of my contract.
He wasn't even out of his jersey.
No.
And he found a microphone to say, peace out. I ain't coming back, pretty much.
I'm done.
I'm good.
Done.
Watch him sign with the Yankees just to annoy you, too.
Right? And play great down the stretch.
Yeah. It'll be like Stanton, Judge, throw Pete in there, hit 45 homers. But we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about the Dolphins and the Jets. But before we do that, as always, let's take care of some business. This show today is brought to you by Caneswear. Everyone go to the website caneswear.com for the best and most affordable Miami Dolphins apparel on the internet. They got it all. If you want a Miami Dolphins hat, hoodie, shirt, sweatshirt, coat, jacket, something for the home, something for the car, caneswear.com is a place to go. Before you check out any other website, go to caneswear.com. They have the best and most affordable Miami Dolphins apparel on the internet. If you're in South Florida, stop by their shop at 2655 South University Drive. And Dave, you got a big Hurricanes game this week in Florida State. You might want some new Hurricanes gear. They're doing real good. Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, they got all the gear for them. They got stuff for the Marlins. They got stuff for the Heat. But if you're a Dolphins fan, caneswear.com is the website. Also, shout out to everyone listening at the I Am a Miami Dolphins Fan Facebook page. If you're watching us on YouTube, drop us a comment. Make sure you like the channel, subscribe to the channel. Super chats are open. If you want to help out and support us, always a super chat's always appreciated. And sign up for Dolphins Talk Extra, patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. A lot of fun's going on over there. All right, Doug, expectations for tonight. Two 0-3 teams. They both are dying for a win. What's your expectations for this game tonight?
Win.
Just win, baby.
Just win. They gotta at this point. They really have to. And I was talking to Omar Kelly on Tuesday, and he said he talked to a player in the locker room, and they feel it that jobs are on the line. And if they don't start winning, people are gonna get fired. And there's that uneasiness for, you would think some people who are, some fans are, players are like, well, I don't care. He gets fired. I'm still blah, blah, blah. There's a big portion of the players that know that, if there's another regime change, there's that big fat question mark of where do I go next? So, they feel it. And I think you can see that in the past two games that they are still playing for Mike McDaniel. This is a game in all honesty, this game and next week, they very easily can get to 2-3, which then you saw what happened with the Giants and the Chargers. I'm not trying to pump out, hopium, but turn it around. This is the game to turn it around because the Jets are kind of equal to the Miami Dolphins right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think saying that they're equal is 100% true. It's 100% fair. I know some fans of the Dolphins are like looking their nose, feel like the Jets and looking down. Don't look down at the Jets. They're no worse or no better than us. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we're at their level right now. Jets and Dolphins are the bottom of the NFL. We're at their level. And I think what you said about, yes, they are playing hard. Because that game versus the Bills, huge underdogs. They could have went out there, mailed it in on a short week on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have pretty much said a lot about a lot of things.
Yep.
This game, go out there, play hard. You're at home. It's tough to pick them to win. But I did pick them to win, and I said if they don't win this one, I probably won't pick them to win for the rest of the way because if you can't win this one at home against this team who's got some injuries as well and who doesn't have a very good quarterback, not that ours is great, but then you're just never going to win. And I think, and you're right. If guys start getting fired, some of the players, who were picked by this general manager, who were signed because this head coach and general manager, they ain't going to be here. Now, honestly, you could say some of these guys shouldn't be here anyways. That's a different story for a different day. But they're really going to be like, okay, honey, start packing up the house. We ain't going to be here in 6 or 8 months. So yeah, it is a big deal. And I know we've sort of talked about this in the past, and I don't want to go down the long road. But if a loss tonight, to me, signals you can get rid of some of these people, meaning the head coach, general manager, at any time. Like, it won't happen after this game because it's a short week and you got a game on Sunday. But literally in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4, like at any moment. Because if you go 0-4, lose to the Bills, Patriots at home, Jets at home, you can fire the head coach at any time, and no one would be like, well, he wasn't given a fair shot. No, he was given a fair shot. He failed.
Yeah, 100%. And, the thing that sucks the most about going 0-4 for the people who still have any slimmer of hope for, that P word, they're all AFC teams. And that really hurts your chances. But, if I'm Stephen Ross and they lose tonight, there should be a press conference tomorrow morning that they moved on from Mike McDaniel. Like, I understand, you lost today, and you're going to face the Carolina Panthers.
It doesn't matter though, because if you're 0-4, it's over anyway. So
and tell me the Carolina Panthers isn't again. Who am I to say anything?
I know.
But tell me the Carolina Panthers aren't the perfect team for an interim head coach to come in. Look what the Patriots did to them, which is a big question mark because I thought the Panthers were going to put up a bigger fight because of what they did to the Falcons. I guess division rivals really do matter. But yeah, like you got to win tonight. You just gotta, and we'll probably get more into the verses, but like I keep saying, it's two of the very similar teams where both defenses played well last year, and you'd think, oh, they'd stay on that trajectory, and both of them suck. So it's like, got to win it.
Yeah, I'll say this too. You did mention the next 5 games, and I did have that on my list of things to talk about. And you're right. The next 5 games, look, I know we've looked terrible. I know the quarterbacks look terrible. I know everything's gone wrong that can go wrong. The next 5 games, outside of the Chargers, I'd say, I think that one's going to be. And I know they lost yesterday, folks. They're still going to kick their ass. You got the Jets. You got Carolina. At Cleveland's going to be tough. They play a hell of a defense. Atlanta, week to week, you don't know what you're going to get with Atlanta. Some weeks they're playing great. Some weeks they don't look great. Those are like what. No, they're not going to run the table, but those are like winnable type games where, if they got back to 4-3, 3-4, like you not like shocked, let's just say, but it got to start with tonight at home because you better take care of the home games. And it starts with tonight at home. I don't think that's going to happen. Trust me. I think this team's going to be like 1-6 at some point. That's just me. But like you can make the case like this next stretch before we get to the Ravens, the Bills, Washington stretch, which is killer. This next stretch, it really is Mike McDaniel's last stand. Like he can't go like 0-4, 0-5, 0-6. Then it's like, what are we doing here? And so yeah, we'll see what happens here because like you said, Jets, Panthers, Chargers, Cleveland, Atlanta. They got to win 1 or 2 of those. You think at least 1 or 2. I don't know though with this team because you don't know what you're gonna get week to week. The defense for Miami has just been so bad, and I know they played a little better versus the Bills, but really we're putting that like on like a curve regretting this. They weren't great versus the Bills. Like in the first half, the Bills were averaging 9 yards per rush, which is why it was so surprising in the second. Why are the Bills even throwing the ball? They're getting 9 yards a rush. What are you even putting the ball in the air for? Which let Miami find some stops, get back in the game a little bit. So I don't know. I think the key matchup is this. Tua can't turn it over. Because if he turns it over, this team's not good enough to overcome his turnovers and his mistakes. And, he can fight with Cam Newton. He can fight with the press. He can say, you come back here and play and sound like a jackass. If he turns it over, they won't win. If he protects the ball, they have a very good chance of winning. I think that's literally what the whole game comes down to, Doug.
That whole Cam Newton situation, I think Cam Newton's rebuttal to that was perfect.
Cam Newton didn't say anything wrong either time.
No, and even if you're a Tua fan, he said it perfectly because he wasn't just coming back out and bashing Tua and saying, oh, I went to the Super Bowl. I'm a league MVP. I know, like he didn't even come out like that.
He wasn't even attacking the money. He's like, dude, you got paid because fine. He was like, but he's like, if you're gonna make that money, you're gonna hear higher expectations, and if you don't meet them, which it's 100% fair.
And he even said, at times Tua plays like a top elite quarterback, which is true. But the thing that got me the most was quiet Tua is the better Tua.
It
And
is.
yeah, so for tonight, 100%, don't turn the ball over, especially if you have a chance to win at home. You have to be smart with the football, but also, which defense is going to get the stop. That I think that's what it's really going to come down to, because both defenses are kind of just a dam waiting to burst. But I really liked what Weaver said on Friday, talking about the violence and
Violence,
stuff.
yeah.
And if the defense can turn it around, because the defense doesn't have, and here's the problem, it's not the secondary, it's the pass rush. I have stats out the wazoo, because it just doesn't make any sense why 31st in pressure, 31st in quarterback hits, 30th in clean pocket, second in blitzing. It's like, what is going on right now? And
They can't get home. They can't get. Look, Chubb is the only one who's gotten home consistently, and he was the one I was the most worried about going into the year.
and the funny thing is, he's not even the best pass rusher on the team right now, because when you look at win percentage, when you look at hurry up, when you look at all of these things, it's Jalen Phillips. But when you look at defensive end / outside linebackers in the NFL, he's 9th in dropping into coverage. Stop dropping him into coverage. Have him be your predominant pass rusher, the Cameron Wake, the Jason Taylor. Just have him be the guy. If you want to drop someone back into coverage, put Willie Gay in at that point if you're going to drop someone into coverage, because he's actually good at that.
How dare you say play Willie Gay? They don't like to do that. And I'll say this too, which I found, I don't have the stats, but just from watching the games, Chop Robinson's not on the field enough. Like, they rotate him too much. He's the youngest, first play him more. And Judon's on the field. I mean, it's not that he's done anything wrong, but he's on the field too much, Judon. I thought we signed him to be like the backup to the backup, play him in case of emergency. But Chop Robinson's got, like, they rotate him like way too much. Like, this
37.
shouldn't be an equal rotation where, Chop's on the field as much as some of the other. Chops needs to be out there every down, unless he needs to come out for a blow. Like, so, seriously, it's like, this ain't rocket science.
Chop Robinson 37 pass rushes versus Phillips 61, Chubb 57, Grant 63, Sealer 80. Like, I know a lot of people are getting on Sealer because he signed a huge contract, not doing anything.
He's not doing it. It's not his fault.
Fun fact, he's double teamed 61% of the time.
It's not his fault.
If you look at Vita Vea, he's double teamed 56% of the time. Chris Jones double teamed 59% of the time. So it's like, if everyone else did their job, him getting double teamed would produce more sacks.
Well, look who he's
doing it.
Well, the past 2 seasons, he's had Wilkins opposite him, who took attention, and then last year he had that's who he had lined up opposite him there, and he took away attention. And no offense to Grant, he's a rookie. Now he's going into game 4. They don't respect Grant like they respect those other two. Like, okay, Grant, you beat us, and he can't. He's in his 4th game. Not saying he never will. I'm just saying right now he can't, and that's why Zach Sealer's getting 2 guys on him. Take him out of the game. Who are you going to beat us with? And they got nobody to beat him with. But Chop Robinson needs to be on the field way more. Like, the whole thing about is his quick first step, and they don't utilize it. It blows my freaking mind. It says a lot about Anthony Weaver.
Him and Jalen Phillips are fast. And that's Jalen Phillips' downfall, to be honest with you. Because, again, he's like 13th among defensive end in hurry, win rate. He's 27th among defensive ends and defensive linemen.
He's just not wrapping guys up when he gets there.
And he overshoots. I noticed that. That's like something I noticed when he was a rookie. He's so fast around that the tackles are very easily moving him, like just moving him around the court. He needs to be more like decisive with his routes, but they got to do something with it.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the Jets. They're without a couple guys tonight. They're without Jermaine Johnson. They're without Jarvis Brownlee. Those guys are out. Fields is going to play from Miami. I think it's pretty much who's out from Miami this week. Is it Ifeadi Malafano's out, right?
I think it's just Storm Duck and Marshall Jr. I think it's just those 2 guys.
Boy,
get Waller.
Yeah, well.
Darren Waller.
It would be so fitting if Waller goes out there and catches like a touchdown. And everyone's like, oh, no, why you guys are all upset? And look, it's got a touchdown. Well, I could totally see that happening. And then Rosenhaus would be on TV afterwards. I told you so.
Yep.
That would be such a thing. All right. Yeah. So I think for Miami again, don't turn it over for Tua. Key number 1. Everything else becomes secondary. I want to see more Ollie Gordon. I'm not saying a lot more, but use him a little bit more than you used him. Like each week, just put a little bit more on his plate, just a little bit. You don't got to go nuts. I'm not saying it's got to be a 50-50 timeshare, but you got to use him a little bit more. And then the other thing I'm going to watch for, and I know Joe Rose has talked about this a lot in his show. We don't throw it deep anymore because he don't think that the quarterback can, which I kind of think he's right. How much is this going to be a 10-yard or less passing game again, like we saw versus the Bills, like we've seen a lot this year, where they take a shot or two a game, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, whatever. But is this going to be another throw it to Achane, throw it to Achane, throw it to Achane, Hill for 5 yards, Waddle for 6 yards? Is it going to be that? Because if it's that again, then that's a sign that it's not Mike just taking what's there. It's a sign he doesn't trust anybody or he don't trust the quarterback to throw deep anymore. That's going to be the other thing. What they do in that passing game, that's the most fascinating thing too. Like this whole thing with the quarterback is fascinating because where he was in 2022, 2023, and where he is now in 2025, it is night and day. And it's like this guy either lost his mojo, has no confidence, he's hurt, which I think he's hurt, or something like that. And he is a shell of his former self. And can he get it back? Or is this the new norm? I don't know, but that's what I'm most curious to see.
Yeah, I think it would be indicative of his thoughts on that right side of the offensive line, because Larry Borum, again,
he's a turnstile. Yeah.
But I'm going to veer off and come right back.
Go for it.
If the Chicago Bears cut an offensive lineman, don't touch him. What? Where's the connect on there? But I think that has a part to do with the short passes, and if we see that a lot, because again, the defensive line of the Jets isn't bad, so that might be it. But also, they're very bad at tackling, so a lot of crossing and stuff like that. But you have to, like you said, you got to take some shots down the field. Their secondary isn't great. Even Sauce Gardner is struggling, and he's actually getting called for his holding penalties.
But he's a good player. He's a
good 100%.
Yeah.
But I also think that a lot of that has to do with Tua's mechanics, because if you watch the deep ball that he threw, I think it was the Patriots, where essentially Tyreek came back, he cocked his back and he punted the ball. It was horrible.
It was the same thing too versus the Bills, where he threw it straight up in the air, and you got 5 guys waiting for almost like a jump ball, like the end of a basketball game, just sort of swat down. I don't care what anyone tells me, and you'll never get a straight answer out of them because they won't answer the question if you ask them at a press conference. That hip injury last year versus Houston, there's something going on there. There's something going on there. Now he's healthy enough to play. Obviously, he's healthy enough to be cleared, but I think. Because where you get your, because when you throw it deep, it's all in the hips, how you turn, how you plant, and he ain't got that no more. And I don't care what anyone says, in my opinion, just from the old eyeball test, and they'll be, well, what the hell do you know? Well, I'm just telling you, I'm old. I've been watching football for a long time. Some that's got to count a little bit. I think something wrong with that hip. That's what I think.
When Miami drafted Tua, even before they drafted Tua, and I was looking at the prospects at quarterback, and obviously, we weren't going to get Joe Burrow because we didn't tank properly. It was Herbert or Tua. I said about Tua, that hip injury worries me. So if they pass on Tua and take an offensive lineman or take Herbert, I wasn't high on Herbert because of the certain intangibles kind of reminded me too much of Ryan Tannehill. I wasn't surprised because my thought process was down the line, Justin Herbert, obviously not Joe Burrow anymore because that guy gets injured just as much as Tua. Normal college NFL career for a quarterback, especially nowadays where they can't get hit, it's like 13 years, give or take. I was like, Tua might make it 8 because of the hip. It's going to start to degenerate, and it's going to be a problem, and you need your hips to drive the ball, and we're seeing it. So what I was fearing before they drafted him is kind of, like you said, kind of seems like it's coming to fruition, especially with the fact that he didn't finish last year because of a hip injury.
Yeah. Let me just say this too. I'm not a doctor. He's not a doctor, Doug. We're just giving our opinions from the eyeball test. So he could be totally healthy for all we know. I'm just saying, just watch the games. And I watch them all. Like you watch them all, Doug. We watch them all. Prior to that hip injury, he was fine.
Yep.
He might not have been the greatest quarterback, but he could throw it down the field, far enough. I always say it's not the strongest arm. He could throw it far enough with enough, zip on it, which is fine. It was passable for an NFL quarterback.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And since that injury, which again, even if they made the playoffs last year and everything fell right, he wasn't going to play in the playoffs last year. That hip injury was really bad.
Yeah.
And now he goes back this year and he clearly isn't the same guy. And it's like, well, what was the one injury in between? Wasn't a concussion, wasn't an arm injury, it was a hip injury. And they'll never admit it. They'll never tell you the truth. It's like we're just sitting here talking like nothing, but it's I don't know. I think that's the main issue. And we'll see how he looks tonight. I mean, look, if he goes out there tonight and hits 3 long passes and they look like the ones he was throwing in 2022, 2023, we got to shut the F up because you know what? We were wrong. And I don't know what's going on. But I'd be very surprised if that happens. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, there's a difference between defensive Tua and cocky Tua. And I'd prefer cocky Tua, which was 2023 Tua, when he was talking about like in practice, like, oh, that looked great to me. And he was doing the talk to me after he was throwing like dots. Like if you look at Tua before his concussions, he was actually quite mobile. Like if you remember the Cardinals game, he was breaking Buda Baker, he was breaking tackles. Yeah. The Patriots game, he laid a few people to get in the end zone. Like he was mobile. It was the concussions, and now it's the hip. And it's something that we, obviously we're going to monitor because he's getting paid a lot. And again, it's so funny too, because you're now seeing Cincinnati Bengal fans moving off of Joe Burrow. Oh, he keeps getting injured and we got to move on.
It's because you got to play it. So like, here's the thing. Joe Burrow, it's not the same because his injuries are always like a new body part. It's like a game of freaking operation. It's an arm, it's a foot, it's a leg, it's a knee. Like with our quarterback, it's usually just the head or the hip. And It's been the head 9 times out of 10 since he's been in the pros. And those are not the same type of injuries. Like if you tear a pec, like you're out for 6 months, you're back. If you hurt your shoulder, you're out for however many weeks in your back. You get a concussion, that starts talking retirement stuff, especially when you're on 2, 3, 4. It's not apples to apples, which when people say, well, so-and-so is always hurt too, not the same. Injuries aren't equal. And our guys is what it is. It's the worst type of injuries. But it's not even about that right now. It's more about Joe Burrow at least took him to a Super Bowl. And honestly, they should have won the game. There was some questionable ref flags throws. Like, that's a whole different story. Who cares? But he at least gave him a moment. He got him to a Super Bowl. Like, what would we give just to have that Super Bowl Sunday where we're in the game? We'd cut off our left fingers. We don't here, take a peek. I don't need it that bad. He at least got them there.
Yeah.
We haven't even won a playoff game. We haven't won the division. And it's like we haven't gotten any of those steps to come close to that. So if Joe Burrow, if they want to move on from him, I get it. I get why. It's fair at this point. But for our guy, it's also fair as well because we're moving backwards. We're getting further away from where we want to be. And we never even had the moment where we were like close.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, it stinks. I feel for the kid. He seems like a nice kid, but you're right. You know what? You're not playing well. You're making all this money. Zip your lip and read the room. Have some self-awareness. So you know what? I'm not playing well. So if Cam Newton wants to say something, he's fair. Just tap dance around the question. Don't answer the question.
I need to play better. I understand. Like stuff like that.
And this other thing he does where he's like, you try to come back here and play. Like he did that last year with the chips. Not as easy when you're sitting there. Dude, you dropped a shotgun snap in an end zone and we lose to Arizona. Yeah, you know what? Pay me $212 million. I'll stand there and brew it for 8 hours a day and I'll make sure I'll catch every snap. You're making the money. You're getting the fame. You're getting all the attention. You're getting all the endorsement deals. You're a starting NFL quarterback. Don't say, well, you can't do it. Yeah, I also can't fly a plane. If the guy crashes a plane off the runway, I'm allowed to say he's a bad pilot. Just like I'm allowed to say you're a bad quarterback if you make mistakes game after game. You can't throw the ball to the right team in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, seriously. And, I like Tua. I defend Tua to a certain extent. People like to call me a Tua-neer or a Tua apologist, even though I'm equally as critical of him as I am defending him. Like, I defend him against comments that I'm like, oh, he can't do this. And I'm like, well, he can. It's, it's about consistency or this or that. But I'm kind of starting to feel the same way I did about Tannehill at this point in his career. And we had Tannehill for 7 years. That it's just, he's not going to get us where we need to. It's time to move on. I said the same thing when we traded Tannehill, that, he's not a bad quarterback. He just needs a different environment. And you saw what, and I was right. You saw what happened. He went to Tennessee. He actually won some games and he did something because he had, the Miami Dolphins are where quarterbacks go to essentially die because
Yep.
we don't know how to build a team around a quarterback. We take a quarterback and we think, oh, we'll just like, who in their right mind sees Tua, sees his injury, and says, let's not focus on the offensive line. Let's get him speedy weapons and let's work. Like that's not
He's
his
just going to be
game.
a point guard. He's just going to distribute the ball. Like, what quarterback isn't just a point guard? It's the dumbest thing ever said.
Like you would think Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, not saying they're in the same even planet, but are you going to give them crap offensive lines and say, just get the ball out quickly? Like, no, you're going to give them somewhat of a decent offensive line. Chris Greer, year after year after year, just was like, you're more worried about the offensive line than I am. And he did it again. He inadvertently did it again because Austin Jackson, injury prone, surprise, got injured. James Daniel, injury prone, again, got injured. So it's like,
Doug, the day they re-signed Liam Eichenberg, and there's a lot of people who made a lot of excuses why it's not a bad signing. I go, well, they haven't learned a damn thing. They're like, well, he's just a backup. So look, here's the deal. If he was healthy, which I know he's hurt and he hasn't played, which he's not someone who's always hurt, so that's fine. But when you're on the field playing, I don't want to hear A, he's just a backup, because at that point he's not, he's playing. And B, we got a 4-year sample size of this guy sucking every time he plays. And for the people who said, well, he's just a backup, who cares? No, because backups play here in Miami because everyone always gets hurt. And when he plays, he's bad. So don't tell me he's such a good backup. He knows all the positions. Yeah, I don't want him playing any of them. That's the thing.
To push back on Mike's comment, who said Cat Tua literally said it doesn't matter who's in front of him. What else is he gonna say? Like, is he gonna bash the GM for not getting him an offensive line? Like, I need more in front. He's gonna be a team player and be like, no, I can make it work. That's what he's gonna say. But look at how it's working out. We have no run game, and if we have no run game, we can't throw the ball deep because everyone's going to be playing cover 2. No one's going to respect the run game. And then the play action goes out the window. The way you have a winning team with Tua as your quarterback, you have a run game and you have a good offensive line, and Tua will win you games. Look at 2023 before the offensive line fell apart. We were winning games. It is what it is at this point. You got to move on.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. The comparison to Ryan is so fair because there comes a point, and when you get to like year 6, year 7, and stuff like that, like it's just, you have to just admit it's not working. It might not be his fault totally. It might not be our fault totally, but it's just not working at the end of the day, and you have to move on. If I hear another person say we can't move on from him, and this is a bad quarterback class, I'm literally going to throw someone out a window. I think because this quarterback class ain't that bad. And people, they just watch one game. Nussmeier sucks. Drew, like, it's September. You're watching one game. You don't even know what the hell you're talking about, most people. Everyone sucks. Well, it's like, who do you want? I don't know. Everyone sucks. It's like when you mentioned the head coach thing. Here are the like realistic people who are going to be head coach. No, he sucks. He sucks. Well, who do you want then? It's like, you don't want McDaniel. You don't want these 9 names. Who do you think's coming here? Like, newsflash, people, you're not going to get Mike Tomlin. You're not going to get someone like Harbaugh. Nor would I want to say we're picking top 5 with like the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th pick around 2 to get them. That's idiotic in my mind. Like, we have no talent. I'm not trading that pick for a head coach because you're not going to get him for a 5th. You're going to get him for a 2nd probably. I'm not getting a 3rd pick around 2 for a coach. You're not getting those guys. And like, people just say like, well, they can't move on from Tua. Yeah, they can. And it's going to suck for a year with the salary cap, but guess what? It's probably going to suck anyways with them. So just rip off the Band-Aid, bite the bullet. You want to do it, you want to do it pre-June 1st or post-June 1st. I don't even care. Just get rid of them and let's try something new because status quo ain't working. And if you run him back next year, no new head coach will want the job. It's like, wait, so I got to have him for a year and we're going to suck with him. And I got to go through that? Like, no, we'll suck without him, and let's try someone new, and maybe that'll be the guy for the future. So a year from now, we'll have like $1 zillion to spend in free agency, and we'll like none of this. People just and the quarterback class ain't that bad, especially if we're picking one. You can get Lenore Sellers, like it ain't that bad.
If I remember correctly, when the Buffalo Bills took Josh Allen, their fan base was not happy.
Yeah, from Wyoming. And everyone watches Wyoming football and knew he was going to be great. That's why people say this stuff. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
And that's the thing. Like, I ask people on Twitter because, when the football season's around, and I also ask you a lot too, I'm more focused on NFL because it's my main job. I'll catch, like I obviously watched Penn State and Oregon because it was a big game. It was on prime time and stuff. So I'll catch like, ooh, let me watch South Carolina. Let me watch Penn State. Let me watch LSU. Let me watch these guys. But I ask, I'm like, hey, is it this bad? And you have so many armchair GMs who are saying, oh,
Yeah,
you
but
don't
even
want
watch
this
the
guy.
games. I don't know. I live in a college town, so I don't see all the quarterbacks, obviously, but a lot of them over the past few years I've seen in person. I saw Trevor Lawrence in person. I saw Watson pre all those nonsense. But I saw
Yeah.
him in person. I saw Winston in person. I've seen a lot of the big name guys over the past however many years come through here because they all play at some point. Especially if they're in the ACC, and I get to see them play live where I live. So I've seen them live, and plus, as you know, I like to bet college football a lot. So I'm watching a lot of these games, and it's just people don't know what they're talking about. Lenore Sellers is a special talent. I think he's going to go 1 overall. At worst, he goes 2. If you're picking 1, you just hit the jackpot. So it's not a bad quarterback class for you if you're picking 1. Nussmeier, right now, he's playing with an ab strain. I know they lost this week. It's in the SEC. It's going to happen. That doesn't mean. And plus, his father's an offensive coordinator in the NFL. This kid is going to work his ass off, and he knows NFL offenses, and he's going to be, not just whoever takes him. His father's an NFL offensive coordinator. He's going to just be ahead of the curve on every step of the process. He's a good player. I'm not saying he's legendary, but again, here's the deal. You don't take one this year. What happens a year from now? Well, that quarterback class sucks too. You got to take one at some point and invest. No, this time last year, no one thought Cam Ward was going to be the first pick of the draft. He was. Josh Allen of Wyoming came out of nowhere. And he became people just say stuff and they don't know what they're saying, and they don't watch either, which is just the most annoying part. But I'm not saying it's the best quarterback class, but if they're in the top 5, great. Honestly, if they lose tonight, lose them all, which means that game versus Saints becomes the biggest game of the year. I was dying for the Saints to win on Sunday because if we get ahead of them in this draft order, that'd be really great. But it's if they lose tonight, honestly, they're not making a run to the playoffs anyways. But there does come a point to where lose. Look, someone in our chat talk about Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, no one had. I mean, it was one game, I know, but he's looked pretty good in the preseason. Looked pretty good yesterday. They won a game versus the Chargers. It was a pretty good team. It's you can find guys, and it's the biggest problem for Tua. And then we can wrap this up. The biggest problem was when he was first drafted. Flores was here. What's the first thing you give if you draft a rookie quarterback? And Chris Greer should have stepped in, and some of the other power brokers that's not on the staff. You give him a quarterbacks coach. He did not have a quarterbacks coach the years under Flores. How do you not give a rookie quarterback a quarterbacks coach? Someone to be just walk around with him, watch tape with him, break down tape with him. You can't put that on the offensive coordinator. He's got too much other stuff to worry about. They didn't give him a quarterbacks coach, and I'm why you're not giving him he's a rookie quarterback that you just took a 5th pick of the draft. You're not giving him a quarterbacks coach. You look stupid, and that was everything went downhill. But any rookie quarterback, you got to give him a quarterbacks coach who just lives with the kid pretty much. But okay, let me read one promo, then we'll just sort of wrap this up. MyBookie.com. Everyone go to MyBookie.com. Use a promo code Dolphins. Make sure you click on the Bet Back Bonus Token. Why? Because if you place a bet, and if you click on the Bet Back Bonus Token, and your bet loses, guess what? That money stays in your account. And you can bet again. It's like the first bet didn't even happen. Nice. It happens at MyBookie.com. Now we got 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. If you think Miami can't lose the Jets, go there, bet. And put your money on the Dolphins. I see some people here in our chat thinks Jets are going to win by 4. Jets. Go there and bet the Jets then. If you're going to be miserable watching the Dolphins game, go there, make some money off it. Go to mybookie.com, promo code Dolphins, bet back bonus token. Either way, make some money with your misery. Or if you think they're going to win, go there tonight, mybookie.com, place the bet. You also got the Broncos. They're playing Cincinnati. I don't really have a strong opinion in that game. I think the Broncos should win. They should, but I don't feel strongly about it. Make a little 2-team parlay. And you do what you got to do. But mybookie.com, promo code Dolphins, bet back bonus token. Your first bet up to $500. Even if you lose, just try another bet and you keep your money. All right, so I picked Miami to win. I think it was like 21-17 or something like that. I forget the exact score. What's your prediction here?
I have the Dolphins winning this one. I think they're home, which they always play better at home, even though they lost to the Patriots at home. I think that the passing game is going to work. I think Mike McDaniel, we saw him actually run Ollie Gordon against Buffalo. I think he sticks with it. I think he runs a little bit more. He is coaching for his life tonight. Like this is it. Like you can't go 0-4.
Last stand.
Yeah. So I think they win tonight. I think it's going to be close. I think I put 27-24 because both defenses, again, you're in and it's so funny. You're in a situation, you have Aaron Glenn, 4 weeks in sucks. Mike McDaniel 4 years in sucks. So it's like two teams in the same direction, but not so much because
not the same context.
Aaron Glenn's going to be here for minimum another year after this,
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel's coaching for his life. So I think you'll see the Dolphins come out. They'll fight hard, give us some hope. And then, 3 of the next 4 after that are teams that they can beat. Again, not saying they can't beat the Chargers. We just saw the Giants do it. And
absolutely. Can do anything can happen on Sunday. And I think they just lost their other offensive tackle who's pretty good as well. So now they're down both offensive tackles.
They don't do well when they go from the West Coast to the East Coast either. So it's gonna be
that would be nice because I'll be down there for that game with Tom. And I've already told Tom as of the last loss at 0-3, I go, look, we're going down there for a game that might not be too exciting. We're down there for 4 days. We're going to eat like slobs, drink like slobs, and we're going to have fun one way or another. And the game's going to be secondary by the time we fly home. We're like, that was a hell of a weekend in Miami at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. We're going to gamble. We're going to drink and eat like pigs. And we're going to have a great guys' weekend. And I ain't letting this team ruin my weekend, my little mini vacation down there. So that's our game plan. If you see us down there that weekend of the Chargers game, Tom and me, come up, say hi. We'll probably have a drink with you because we're having fun one way or another that weekend. Be damn this team. I ain't letting them ruin that. That's the way to do it, Dougie. That's the way to do it.
Yes, sir.
Nice drinks, food, bet, live it up.
There you go.
I'm staying in a hotel shaped like a guitar. How can you not have a good time?
Exactly.
How can you not have a good time when you're doing that? You should see the shower in this thing. It's unbelievable. All right, everyone, have a great Monday. Follow Dougley Do Wrong on YouTube. He's everywhere on YouTube. He's with Omar and Alan and TD. They got a great show twice a week at the Collective, Dolphins Collective, and follow him on his own channel. Of course, you could also watch his videos up on our website as well. You know how to find me if you're watching the show. Everyone, we'll see what happens. Myself and Tom will be up late tonight with a post-game wrap-up show. Check that out live. It'll either be, hey, look, it's a win. We're on the board with a win, or it's going to be an utter meltdown because I know Tom will lose it. They lose to the Jets. And either way, you'll be entertained. It's great podcasting at its finest. Everyone have a great Monday. We'll talk to you again after a while.